Excited to see this game.
Just wonder if they're going to swap here at the last second. No, it doesn't look like it. And they're actually pulling up Fear, so they're not going to run Arteezy mid either. Or are they? Magic Stick given to him? Let's find out. For now, we introduce our teams. Cloud9, they're 0-1 so far in group stage play. Meanwhile, EG, 2-0, looking to sweep Group A. Some called it the Group of Death, but they're not afraid of it, at least for now. And on the dire side, you have Team Cloud9. Double Ring of Protection picked up early for Eternal Envy. Really wants that plus armor, and he will be handling the Necrophos. AUI 2000, your Ogre Magi. Following up suit will be Fada on the Bristleback. They move into their jungle as 4 and try to protect it. Pilot out your Venge, and the last hero, Mag, standing in on the off-lane Centaur, one of his signatures. Meanwhile for EG, Zai will be playing the support Scarith Mage Universe on that signature Faceless Void. PPD, the support Abaddon. Fear going mid on the Dragon Knight. And it's Arteezy who goes to the side lane here as the Nature's Prophet. Again, a bit of a change up for Cloud9. Not sure if they were expecting this. They didn't seem to be based on that last ban of the Death Prophet, which I've never seen Fear play.
Man, Universe has this sick items on this Void. He's like a Mjolnir and this cool little headpiece. I'm still enthralled by that.
You should be. It's a Universe Void after all. It's only suiting. This rune will spawn 0 minutes in. What's it going to be? An illusion top for Pilot Die and a bounty rune bottom for Mag Centaur. I'll rotate back towards the bottom lane. So they're going to run a tri-lane top, defensive tri-lane to secure the early farm for the Necrophos. And in an interesting change-up, we see a Bristleback going mid for Fada. That's probably the thing that sticks out most to me about this. He's going to do some shenanigans with the creep wave. He draws off the range creep.
It is nice anti-push, though. They can have Centaur and Bristle in the front line, and they shouldn't die to the burst from Skywrath and Void, although if he's out of position or facing them, then they easily can. And looks like this dual lane top's going to have a lot of issues, too. If Zai gets caught out, I mean, it's not going to be easy for him at all. And Mag is not having easy time on bottom lane, too. No boots on him, and PBD's just right-clicking away.
This Abaddon easily trading blows with Mag. Arteezy only level 1, so can't do anything about it. There are tangos on Mag anyway, but the pressure is definitely in, and he's kind of playing this like he does the trio the Ogre, just going aggressive with a melee support that's tanky and has some ability that lets him to trade. But they are wrapping on Fada. Just a nuke harassment for now. Can't go in with Fear, not having mana, not having spells anyway. He did expect this Bristleback mid, having seen Fada pick it up. That's why he went for the level 1 Magic Stick, and it's paid off so far. Overall thoughts on the lane? Do you think anyone's getting an edge here early?
I think EG slightly, just because it's unexpected that Fear is going to go mid, and Arteezy is going to go safe lane with the Nature's Prophet. But I mean, it doesn't really seem to affect the game that much, just because Fada's going to get farm regardless, and EG's mid hero is going to get farm regardless. Anyways, I'd say it's a little bit better matchup for Nature's Prophet though, since he is range versus the melee Centaur.
AUI trying to trade blows here with the Universe. The backtrack helps him for one auto attack, but you need a lot more than that to trade effectively against an Ogre. As Zai gets aggressive on the Pilot Eye, chasing him in, they're going to bring in Arteezy. There's a perfect Sprout block, so he'd have to double tango to get through that, and it wouldn't have mattered. Great rotation from Arteezy. Fantastic Sprout placement. That was, I would basically say, next level.
EG's had, I mean, they've also been really good about Sprout places. He must have taken a page from Universe's book, because the Universe did that a lot yesterday.
Well, with that, EG off to a customary lead. Seems to be just how things go for them as of late. In good news for Cloud9, they're absolute freeform on the Necrophos, and he is a very potent enemy to a hero like Dragon Knight later on, but when he gets chronoed, at some point that's likely to happen. What is the solution for Cloud9? It's really just the swamp of Pilot Die, who, as is standard, is not getting too much in the way of levels early on.
So what the heck is EE going for with this double Ring of Protection? I guess Tranquils plus Ring of Basilius?
Just Sassy, yeah. I mean, there's nothing else, right?
I mean, armor's okay, but you need HP to survive Skywrath first, and that's one of the scary things about Skywrath. Oh, Mag.
They force out the Time Walk, but Mag doesn't have a mobility skill, and they'll dive onto the bottom lane, killing off the Centaur. The off-lane trade also going EG's way, though that may change now. Zai healed up. Pilot will rotate in. Arteezy will come back in. He's got Phase Boots already with the Orb of Venom. Pilot might not even get this kill. The shield's used. He's overextended, and he will be punished. Another kill for EG. Make it 3-0. Now they bring in a third hero. Mag back into the lane. He double edges, they get at least one return kill. They look for a secondary one as Zai worms his way through the trees. Mag brings the lane back to equilibrium, make it 3-2. Looked like just an easy win there for EG, but it turns out not too bad at the end for Cloud9.
Pilot actually had Howl Terror at level 1, and Wave of Terror rather, and I don't know why he didn't have stun, but, well, he will be level 2 now.
That looked like it was just going to fall apart. If you get a 3-0 lead on EG and get out scot-free there, you're in all kinds of trouble. But they do equalize it a bit. Like this Orb of Venom on Arteezy. It's just going to make life so difficult for Mag in the offlane, especially with phase boots.
He has farmed 450 gold and phase and Orb of Venom. Jeez, 4 minutes in. Incredible farm on Arteezy.
I'm surprised Cloud9 haven't even considered a smoke gank yet, but it's where the Dragon Knight pick comes into play. Well, Universe going in, he'll tank a couple of nukes, he's got a time walk, we'll use it. Like if this is the Death Prophet mid, for example, if they wasn't banned and they picked it, maybe you can gank that here, but the Dragon Knight is so much tougher to kill.
Yeah, he
so
really
it takes away a lot of the power of a Vengeful Spirit Ogre, which is their early rope.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to kill Universe. He does have poor man shield, but finally he's almost out of regen. Started off with 8 tangos, 1 pulled one, as well as a salve, and finally burning through that.
And he also has no items. Sitting on 3 CS, nothing on the courier. Fear now complete his treads. Just tank it up as much as possible, and he gets close to level 6. And EG do have quite a bit of push here, from the Dragon Knight ultimate, the Treants being dropped down, and eventually the threat of a Chronosphere if you come to defend that tower. Fear will be starting to chip away at mid soon enough.
I wonder what RT is going to go for with this robe, if it's
Orchid Rush, do you think? Blade Mail?
Orchid's not that great versus C9, I'd say. It's like okay, but not amazing. Blade Mail, it's alright too. I don't know. Neither of them really stand out to me. I would expect them to go like either Necro or Midas.
I guess the nice thing with this is you can build quite a few different items, so it's decent stats for now, gives them some good damage. And somewhat leaves his options open. Well, the Bristleback mid, farming decently, but not as good as Fear. Fear's at 35 CS already, and he has permanent Breathe Fire from the Quill Spam. Still 8 Magic Stick charges, the bottle coming back out mid. Teleport scroll now picked up, he hits level 6. And they will rotate now, but it's such a difficult time to get a kill.
Fear doesn't even...
This Dragon Knight's so tanky, and there's a TP on PPD, of course. So very tough. And it's actually EG who go, and they jump on the Bristleback with that initial stun, follow up with the Skywrath Mage nukes, and get a kill. And now they'll begin to siege mid. They can teleport in Arteezy if they so desire. He's got it ready. Level 3 Treants also online. Cloud9 already starting to take significant tower damage, and they don't push that fast yet. They have good wave clear, but they don't have building killing potential. And with this Dragon Knight Poison Breath, it will quickly tick the tower down. They get a concussive shot from Zion, they go in. Just trying to zone him out. Tower will drop, lose about 1/3 of its health from this first ultimate. Fear will retreat, he's still got half duration left. They also close in on Chronosphere for Universe. Now has his boots, has full HP. Still pretty under farm, but as long as he hits a good Chrono, that can allow the rest of the team to do their work. And Arteezy's ult is cooling down. He is going Orchid Ben, so we get our answer now. Picks up the Quarterstaff. There are a lot of casters on Cloud9, but it's not like there's an Ember Spirit or something where it's an obvious go-to Orchid game.
Zai's just been putting pressure in all the lanes too. I mean, he's level 4 with, I don't even think he's pulled one time at all. And Cloud9 is just succumbing over and over to these ganks. And a lot of it has to do with that early Observer war they had in the top lane.
Highlight Die dropped a lane war, but it was after these heroes rotating into the shop. It won't matter though. Zai and Universe show their pretty low health. Meanwhile, bottom lane we have a clash. Stun to start this one off. Now Mag going for the stomp double edge follow-up, but Arteezy a bit too tanky. Do they get off the Sprout? He tries for it. Didn't have the vision as they made their way through the tree line. Guessed with the ground Sprout and wasn't on the mark. So they force out a TP. They force out a rotation.
Oh, Zai might die here. Pilot Eye wrapping around.
That ward doing some work. Stun to come through. Eternal Enemy does have his ultimate. He can keep him dead for a long time. There's a silence from Zai. TP out attempted. They need 2 more auto attacks. They get the kill. But they don't get that bonus 30 seconds on the sideline.
GG, no armor.
Yeah. When you're getting right-clicked down by a Necrophos and Avenge this early, it's only level 1 Wave of Terror. That's a squishy support. PPD will find a haste rune, goes on a Mag, immediate TP out because he knows that Nature's Prophet can come in. So he'll make his way out. AUI will be the one trying to take some farm in the offlane. It's been a fairly slow start. 4-3 your score, but not like a huge flurry of action. That may change soon though, with Universe picking up the Chronosphere and his level 6. They now leave the top lane open. They'll rotate the Nature's Prophet in the jungle. EG being efficient on the map, letting PPD do the pulls. Universe waiting for a chrono setup.
The big wild card I feel like is EE. I don't know if he's going to feed or own, just because he could just die to the burst instantly from EG, or he could get swapped out and just clean everybody up.
He's very cognizant of that. He builds a vitality booster first, now completing, actually already has a complete route of Atos. That's quick. 59 CS on Eternal Envy.
The Atos Rush.
1100 HP. A lot of regen he can get from that passive. He could be very, very difficult to bring down. And if they get swamped, like you said, it puts a little more pressure on EG to lock down the bench.
What a value item Route of Atos is. 350 HP.
And getting it this early. Like last game we saw in the support Visage around like 20 minutes. This is a 9-minute Rod of Atos. Exponentially more valuable. And they will chase Eternal Envy out. Arteezy has the phase boost, but Stampede was used, and they're going to be forced to back off while Cloud9 charge into the creep wave. They look to turn this on Design. Necrophos ult used. Doesn't get the kill during it. He'll fall, but again, not the bonus 30 seconds on the sideline. Still though,
Atos paying off. Kill. That's actually a pretty cool item build for Necrophos. Usually you'll see like a lot of HP plus movement speed with like drums and mech, but him going to Atos gives them two birds with one stone. Bottom lane, they go on to Mag. The shield on the Universe keeps him alive. Nice nuke from AUI 2000. They don't have a Necrophos ult, but they've got that Atos slow. Universe trying to go toe-to-toe here with AUI. It needs more heals, more shields. They'll bring down AUI. Now they turn to focus Eternal Envy, who keeps on charging in to 4 heroes. He heals the wave. It's too much, and it's a triple kill to Arteezy. You know what? He's durable, but he's not that durable. That was actually really lucky by EG. Universe backtracked a Death Pulse. If he doesn't backtrack the Death Pulse, he dies, and then Necrophos has Sadist going on him, and he might actually get a couple more kills. So, I mean, it's only 1 point of backtracking. That could have made a world of difference. He is damn tanky. Like, they had 4 heroes right-clicking him, nuking him that entire time. Multiple shields used. He almost got all the kills. And you do have to wonder, like, what if the Bristleback joined him in the bottom lane? What if they made a few more rotations to support him? Sure, there's a backtrack, but perhaps one more support or other hero in the fight would have made it a Cloud9 victory. Or anyway. If he had gotten the Reaper onto the Skywrath, he wouldn't have been there to silence them. There's a lot of things that caught out by Fear, and now they go in with Arteezy's right clicks. They bring down the Bristleback. Fear now building towards a Shadow Blade. We haven't seen this item in quite some time. The mobility of Cloud9 is just, they can't handle the Nature's Prophet rotations everywhere. And this is without like any huge Chronospheres coming out from Universe 2. It's only going to get worse once Skywrath hits 6-2. So the full strength of EG's lineup has yet to be revealed, and Cloud9 are even struggling to handle the first couple of stages. Yeah, you have Stampede, which is great, but that's sitting on a 90-second cooldown. You compare that to the Prophet TP about to be a 20-second. You can get a 4 Prophet rotations for every Stampede. Very, very difficult. And the Orchid, you can just get silenced, and Centaur's going to be dead. If not go on him, it won't help you anyway. He's still 800 gold away from his Blink Dagger. Cloud9 do need a win here. A loss puts them at 0-2. It prevents any major tiebreak shenanigans. Tinker are already 2-1 in Group A. But should they manage to pull this one out, as I already was saying, it could get very interesting. Necrophos, 1260 HP. That is, I think, the most I've seen on Necrophos this early into the game. Yeah, pure tank mode. Goes back for the charge. He still doesn't turn the Rings of Protection into anything. But now with all this HP, they get some value in terms of effective HP pool overall. They can kind of Orchid him and ignore him, or just focus him down if they want to, though. No real good defensive abilities for him aside from Swap. I feel like the supports of Cloud9 just haven't gotten much done. Ogre, Venge, supposed to be able to dual roam and find a lot of early kills, but there's a Nature's Prophet you can counter gank, and a Baden who can keep heroes alive when you jump them, and difficult heroes to kill anyway. Dragon Knight, Void very tanky, and the Nature's Prophet who can just be anywhere and blow heroes up. It's just been a good draft to deal with the early roam, and so they haven't done it, but then they've also been underwhelming, and it's put them in a predicament. Yeah, they're getting decent levels, but yeah, I mean, they're just running around looking for things to do, being too slow to react to ganks because EG's just coming in with Nature's Prophet whenever they see a good opportunity, and the other heroes are just too darn tanky. Way too tanky. The Bristleback's also been fairly quiet. Trying to just push the mid lane and farm. Fauna up to a Vitality booster now. Bottom lane will have a skirmish though. Silence comes out from Arteezy, and then the Mystic Flare into Mag blowing him up. They have a Dragon Knight stun.
cooling down in 7. Pilot has a TP, not using it. Fear still in Viz. Who's he gonna stun? Who's he gonna auto attack? Nobody yet. They keep Sai alive for a very long time thanks to these shields. And finally Universe arrives, drops the chrono. It's on Pi. That means no defensive swap. They silenced Eternal Envy so he couldn't heal. And I don't think he had the mana for it anyway. And now they chase for the Bristleback. PPD getting his ultimate in this fight. He's level 7 in fact. Fada can't die, but well, not yet anyway. They may go back in with Fear. He's got his Shadow Blade damage coming out. Who does he jump? He goes on AOI 2000. Arteezy TPing in again over the top. Fear tanky, shielded up, kept alive despite not the BKB, but Mag now gets vacuumed in by a Sprout from Arteezy. Man, that was an interesting one. They still focus on Fear. Another shield. Is there another heal? Finally the Abaddon's ridden down, and they'll also be able to kill off the Dragon Knight. In the end, not too bad of a trade for Cloud9 at all. Didn't look good at the start, but make it 2 for 2, a slight gold swing their way, and more importantly, perhaps they finally get their first tower of the game.
And finally, these two juggernauts hook up in a fight, Bristleback and Necrophos, and they can't really burst either of them down, but at the same time, you can't ignore them. Heartstopper does do a lot of damage over like a 20-second fight like that, as does Bristleback Glow Spray, and they just don't have enough sustain. They have single target sustain with Abaddon, but nothing like a Necrophos, which they probably would have liked for their team.
Yeah, Cloud9 really excel in long, drawn-out fights, right, where the Quill stack up, the Heartstopper aura continues to damage everyone and slowly bring them down with the negative regen. And where you get off maybe a few multicasts, it's just a lineup that excels in drawn-out fights, but EG more about the burst from that initial Shadow Blade gank, the Mystic Flare Chrono. If Cloud9 get too tanky, they may not be able to take fights, but the good news is they have a plan B, which is split push with the Shadow Blade and the Nature's Prophet, and don't force the issue against Cloud9. So we'll see if EG are forced to make that adjustment.
At the same time, they don't want Necrophos or Bristleback to get into this like invincible mode status where you can just walk up without fear of Chrono. They always have to be threatened by the Chronosphere, or EG's lineup is going to start to fall apart.
Fear does have the Shadow Blade ready to go again. Ultimate's cooldown. He's got the level 2 ult now. He doesn't pop Dragon Form, just goes in Viz for a casual jaunt through the enemy woods. He's joined by the Nature's Prophet remotely if need be, and the Skywrath Mage. And Mag walks up the hill. The Shadow Blade about to wear off. Fear, did he get eyes on that? Not sure if he poked his head out. Now he will, and he gets caught. He gets off the initial Dragon Tail, then the Mystic Flare blows up Pilot Dive, but they turn it, or attempt to with the Centaur's stop. Going on to Fear, immediately Zai gonna TP out. They get Goo on him, a multicast ×2, and they will clobber him, so it makes it a support bench for a Dragon Knight. Not a great trade, and the Dragon Form expended, down for 100 seconds. Nice win there for Cloud9.
Yeah, nice win indeed, and they're still looking to get picks with like a Shadow Blade Dragon Knight plus a Nature's Prophet, but right next to the T2 is just not the right place to do it. And, well, EG, they're looking to push towers down, but they only have 1 tower down. Oh, actually, I think it's about to be 2. But C9's meeting their push, though, which is unusual from C9. Instead of, they usually like to split push, and their fight is just really strong with this Necrophos.
And it's nice to see them doing something different and it actually working reasonably well, right? It's not like a full 5-man draft. Both teams have good late game. They have a little bit of split push thanks to Centaur and Bristleback just being really tanky, but not a whole lot. Fada is about to be cut out at his tier 1 top. They orchid him to start. He can turn his back here and try to lift with the Mystic Flare, and he will. With a cloak and a Vanguard, they just can't bring down this Armadillo, and he turns the charge. The silence now removed. They'll go Arteezy once, but I don't know if they can really do anything.
Uh-oh, the tank mode status is almost real.
I love this casual cloak pickup. I feel like too few players go for it. He can still go back if he wants to complete that Crimson Guard, or maybe just goes into a pipe. Either could be, you could make an argument for either. A lot of magic damage, a lot of physical.
Look at EE, he's just running up. He's not scared of Chrono. This is really bad for EG. He's just like, I don't even care, I'm just gonna run at you.
I think they need to just start ratting it more.
Well, their lineup's not built around ratting. It's built around...
It's a Prophet and Shadowblade Dragon Knight. It's not too bad.
They have to be scared of Centaur. Mag's gonna just pick them off really easily.
So go in top lane. Nice Chronosphere found Fada. Universe will need quite a few bashes, and the Mystic Flare still cools down. His Quill starting to stack up. The Nature's Prophet of Arteezy came in through the rear. He gets Pilot Die, but he pays with his life. They do bring down the Bristleback, though. A 2-for-1 thus far. Universe forced back. Well, a win there for EG, but eventually the creeps will run down the Skywrath Mage. Ogre Magi actually getting the last hit there. Meanwhile, Fear also on the move, going for Eternal Envy mid, but he needs a +1, and while that was happening, they lose the Universe top lane. The Void ended up dropping to the Centaur. Looks like he got another blink into a double-edged stop, securing that kill. And Arteezy tries to go for a Midas now. Well, if you want to rat, this will help, but Will they be allowed to, is the question. Looked like a 2-for-1, and that ends up being a 3-for-2.
Now they're finally not on the same game plan. Before they were just going all-out gank with the Shadow Blade and Orchid, but now they're like, hey, wait, we can't kill them. Arteezy going back for the Midas. Dragon Knight might even pick one up of his own too, or else his farm's going to start to fall off. Shadow Blade does not really help you in that farming territory, and EE is going to continue to accumulate wealth as well as survivability. 16 armor on him now without the mech buff.
Yeah, I thought Cloud9 might try to outgreed EG, but they're just trying to outfight them, and so far it's working. I wonder if a little bit of this comes down to the influence of having Mag on the squad. Not sure, but they will go for Roche now. Eternal Envy went back for his mech. He's completed that. Has 1,000 gold in the bank to boot. The Goose stacks up on the Roshan, and Bristle Boss begins to form. He's now got a single point in Bloodlust. And to go with that Vanguard Cloak, he's got 1,000 gold banked up. They'll give the Aegis the way of the Necrophobia. It's a lot of heals available for this team. And they may look for a tier 1 push mid. That tower still stands. EG may have to trade. Arteezy and Zion rotating up top. Eternal Envy is the Aegis carrier, of course, but these two alone cannot bring him down. They'll need a +1, maybe a +2. And with this tier 1 standing, if they go for that, they may lose more. Teleport comes to the bottom lane from Arteezy, and AUI will just farm the wave. He's holding that extra ring of protection for Eternal Envy now. Still haven't really seen him use it for much, but...
GG, value 3 armor. I mean, 175 gold for 3 armor is actually a little ridiculous.
Yeah, well, fortunately there's inventory slot limitations to balance that out. But early on it can be potent. And I suppose against Void, if you want to trade blows with him, it helps you to do that quite a bit in the laning stage.
So... yeah.
Crimson Guard's complete.
I would say EG's game plan has just been completely stymied by C9's picks and play.
They even get a tower denied bottom, going the way of AO 2000. And now they've got the core components of a Death Ball. You've got your Crimson Guard, your mech, and just an HP item on Eternal Envy in the form of that Rod of Atos, plus an Aegis, Blink Dagger on Centaur. Force Staff is just a nice luxury item at this point. And they have their level 8 on the Venge. Only really need the level 6, but this will do. EG are not going to be able to take this unless they get some sort of ridiculous jump on Cloud9.
C9 is going to push T1, T2. They could potentially push T3 at this point, and a botched Chrono could mean Rax. But I don't know if they're in a decent enough position to push it. EG actually looking to split push of their own.
Safe play would be to take this and then go for the other tier 2s rather than forcing high ground.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think they have the items to do so, but it all depends on the Chronosphere from Universe. Is he big and bad enough to pull it off?
They have the items. Do they have the confidence? That's the question. Let's see. They're pretty aggressive in their movement. Eternal Envy, a bloodlusted Necrolite, an undead villain, just crossing past where the tower stands and clearing out the way with a double death pulse. Basically at full mana. The ping's coming out. Top lane is Arteezy. Will get caught by a 4-step stomp. Nice jump in for Mag. Universe jumped in, but he doesn't find a great Chrono. He will have to Chrono just to keep Arteezy alive, but that leaves the way open mid lane where they're pushing in now. Arteezy trying to TP out, barely surviving. That last cool spray almost finished him off. It's go time if you're Cloud9. If not the mid push, then certainly a tier 2 top is ripe for the picking. And the wave is pushing bottom. Maybe Arteezy can draw them back. Man, Universe, there's just no openings for him. So few heroes to go on. Can't go on, probably can't go on Centaur, he's pretty tanky. Definitely can't go on Bristleback or Necrophos between the Aegis and their durability. And Ogre Magi is also a beefcake in his own right. 1400 health on AOI 2000. It's a very prickly situation. Who do you go on if you're Universe?
Well, usually you would have enough damage with your lineup to dump into it, and I think C&I had a very smart ban in the Sand King ban. But really, Abaddon, no damage during Chronosphere. Nature's Prophet, minimal damage during Chronosphere. Dragon Knight possibly, but he's not actually that farmed. And Skyrath is your actually only partner, and that's only single target. Both Faceless Void and Skyrath are single target, and they can't even bring down any target. So if they bring someone down to like 50% HP, everyone else is going to trounce them. They can't focus any efforts on Centaur, or else they're just going to get Reaper to death. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a good win-win situation. Maybe they outfarm it up, wait for a super big fat Faceless Void with like Maelstrom, Mjolnir, plus a couple of other items, but still they have to worry about him just getting Reaper to death. And Necrophos might even have like a sheep at some point.
Yeah, no matter how big the Dragon Knight gets, if that BKB is not used, he's also very vulnerable to the Necrophos ultimate, and one good kill like that can just flat out win you the game. given the way that EG's draft works.
The Shadow Blade has just not paid off for him. He got like one kill with it maybe, and then outside of that, C9's just been running around very smartly. They have sentries everywhere.
Hey, come on now. He stole a bounty rune out from under Cloud9's eyes. That's a value Shadow Blade.
Value indeed. I don't actually know what item would have been better for him, besides maybe like a Midas and just trying to outfarm Cloud9.
Midas into like AC, BKB maybe.
Yeah,
it's more like a hard carry Dragon Knight.
Still, he's vulnerable to magic damage, multicast plus Reaper, and he's gone.
It seems pretty clear that they flat out just thought they could get more kills than they're actually capable of. Universe, like some of those fights they took
Universe!
He spots them out. Dust was used. They didn't get vision on him until afterwards. He's trying to jump away, but frozen mid-jump. The multicast. Universe got at least one backtrack there, and will turn on Mag. Manages to kill off the Centaur War Runner. Meanwhile, top lane, Zai will end up falling as the trade. It's a 1-for-1 exchange thus far, and there it ends. A Skywrath for a Centaur, but Chrono was used. So, the question now is, do Cloud9 force their way in?
Well,
knowing that Chrono's down, you've got 90 seconds with an Aegis.
I don't think they will. They can just secure Aegis. And
oh, sorry, Aegis is actually gone. That's what happened top, is they popped the Aegis.
Yeah, and then they get the Aegis and just keep playing it from there and slowly accumulate a very nice gold lead from taking out Roshan over and over, and EG not being able to kill them with what should be easy kills with Face Void and Sky.
Oops. Console, please. Leave me alone.
So Fear and PBD smoking up. Recently acquired BKB on Fear, looking for a kill. He does have a DD rune, but who is vulnerable to this? Vada's just out in no man's land, not a care in the world. So supports are sitting behind and next to EE. And then looks like Mag might be Prime.
This will be the second to last outer tower forced, and with no Chrono, it doesn't seem possible to defend. They have the DD, but no Dragon form. And the Bloodlust Vada in the front line. Shiva's Guard now picked up by your Eternal Envy Necrolite.
You might see a chicken pick from Arteezy, but he might pay for it if Mag's right next to it.
Yeah, there's just only a smoke on that as well. It's not carrying any big items, but any gold will help. Mag is no longer near that courier. Ping's coming out onto Arteezy. Cloud9 still pushing in. Nice little multicast there. Double slow onto EG, but they're going to retreat out. And they group together just to ensure no man left behind, essentially, for Cloud9 here. And looks like they will raid for the next Roshan now.
Cloud9's playing very cohesively and just very much like they've been playing together forever, which is nice. And everyone's protecting each other. Supports aren't wandering off by themselves and getting picked up by Chronosphere.
And disciplined too.
Yes.
Very disciplined.
So EG, they still have backup game plan, farm Dragon Knight and farm Faceless Void, and Dragon Knight with a lot of items.
Fear, they left the sentry waiting for him. This is a disaster if he gets caught out. The double stun, Necrophos ult upon him, doesn't finish him though. Now they stampede, but it's actually a stampede to retreat. He was able to get off his magic stick there, and he also had a BKB.
Great positioning by PPD.
Tankier than expected, to be honest.
Yeah, but still, they're always prepared with Sentry Wars too, and can't rely on that for initiation.
Yeah, that will be an easier kill if they manage to get the Aghanim Scepter later on for Eternal Envy.
Or GG Multicast.
Yeah, if they manage to get one, that certainly can make a difference. And speaking of GG Multicast, he does have a point booster in AUI. He'll slowly club his way towards an Aghanim Scepter. Cloud9 haven't really threatened EG too much yet. They took the tier 2 mid, that was the main objective. But Arteezy has quietly kept them back from bigger objectives. Split pushing the bottom lane, generally being a thorn in their side, also joined them when they took that tier 1 top. Cloud9 have been slowed down just enough that they don't feel safe.
Yeah, Cloud9 has been doing a good job of not dying, but at the same time they're not out-greeting their opponent heavily. Even with a Roshan, they're still down by 4,000 gold to EG, and a lot of it does have to do with Nature's Prophet. But how hard can Nature's Prophet carry in this particular situation?
If this goes super late game, which it might well, who do you favor? You've got super tanks on one side, and a lot of late game DPS on the other, and initiation in the form of the Void, the Dragon Knight.
I would say Cloud9, just because I don't think Abaddon will be useful at all. Nature's Prophet doesn't scale incredibly well with items. He can accumulate a lot of items, but just doesn't scale well with them. And Faceless Void with a Bristle and a Centaur just up in his grill might not be able to do that much damage too, especially with the defensive swap coming out from Vengeful Spirit. And then on top of that, they have to worry about Reaper's Scythe and just not dying to that.
I feel like it's kind of like a late game Doom with Necrophos, where it's just like having the double Doom just wins you a fight in the game, and maybe even more so the case. You not only delete a hero for 17, 18 seconds or a bit longer if you have the Ags and you stay near them, but you delete them from the fight for 2+ minutes.
But they have BKBs. They'll probably get a BKB on Faceless Void too, so...
They kind of have to.
Yeah.
I don't think you can risk losing to a late game Axe Reaper Scythe like that. Well, for now Arteezy hasn't had to pop his. It's a 10-second duration. I don't think Fear's used his either. Yeah, 10 seconds for him. He closes in on an AC, but your Bristleback for Fada has also completed one. This is a beef back. He's very, very tanky. Huge shank of meat to bring down.
I still think it's all a matter of execution. Like, no lineup has a clear advantage in the game. I say slightly C9, but they're slightly behind in gold, so that's really offset there. It's so minuscule that it's just all about, can he hit big chronos? Can they burst people down before they pop like mech and Death Pulse and whatnot? Is Bristleback facing the right way during big cooldowns?
Yeah,
and
like a Chronosphere or something.
Is PPD in a good position? Are their BKB timings proper?
And the one thing is, I think that we didn't mention is Cloud9 are fairly group-centric, so they tend to cluster, right? Your Necrophos doesn't really sit back and auto-tag. He gets in the middle of the team, keeps on healing them, tanks in the front lines, and they've got 3 melee heroes on top of that, and Avenge, who, that's the one hero that wants to stay back. If 4 heroes are grouped up and you hit that Chrono with Fear splashing through with auto attacks, then it might be a fight that EG can win. So like you said, I think it really can go either way. Well, having an Aegis will help. Cloud9 are about to claim it. Getting bashed for now. Aegis will go the way of Eternal Envy. Aegis number 2. The first one mostly just took a tier 1 and prevented a death top lane.
I wonder what Necrophos is going to get next. Like, he doesn't have any offensive items, and he actually might need offensive items at this point because they can kind of just ignore him. Maybe Heartstopper will do enough, but he could also get a Veil to help out with multicast and his own damage. He could also just go Scepter for that ridiculous upgrade, although it's still difficult to get Reaper kills here. So, I don't know. He could also just go more tank and get a Heart or Scythe.
Yeah, not only is it's hard to get Reaper kills because not only is there triple BKB, but there's Abaddon as well. So you've got the heals, the shields to try and protect heroes, remove stuns, and allow them to retreat out or just pop their BKBs in time.
It is a Heart coming out for EE.
Well, mass tank mode for him. He's going to be nigh unkillable. Can he be ignored? Depends. If they chrono him so that he can't use any heals in a fight, maybe they can just kill the other
heroes.
heroes.
Still Heartstopper, though. Heartstopper is really good when you're talking about like 40-50 minutes into the game. It's an aura, so
especially against
BKB.
the Dragon Knight. That's the one hero that will particularly suffer from this.
I mean,
as a strength hero.
It doesn't sound that much, 1.5% per second, but it's like straight HP, not like magic damage. It's also AoE, huge AoE, so you're usually getting out on 5 heroes, and it adds up really quickly.
And these fights are likely to go long, and Cloud9 want to make the game short at the same time. They push straight down mid. PPD in position. They'll need a Universe Chrono and a half here. As they jump in to start the fight, they go up PPD, trying to force out that ultimate, the borrowed time. Not succeeding yet. Arteezy's on the split push, but it's not very quick. He's not even breached the tier 2 yet. They'll stun Fada, but his back is turned, so he hardly takes any damage. Your Venge for Pylai Die positioned well back with a level 2 swap. They bloodlust Eternal Envy again. Glyph was already forced out. And EG are under siege. Though TP and Arteezy directly behind them. Actually procs some return damage here with the auto attack attempt. Good backswing it. Now Universe, 2 hero Chrono. Didn't find Pylai Die. Everyone okay for now. Mag eats a Mystic Flare. He's fairly durable. AUI kept alive for ages. Fear with the BKB. Still a lot of investment just to kill off one. And now the Necrophos gets Arteezy out of the game. He can buy back, I believe, if he needs to. Yep. He has the gold for it. Not even using the buyback yet. Now he will, but they've already lost their Venge. I don't know if it would have mattered. 4 heroes dead with a buyback on the Nature's Prophet, and still they push in. They'll take down the melee racks. Cloud9 brute forcing EG. A total change-up of draft and style, working out beautifully for them. EG were confident they would go undefeated and sweep this group, but it doesn't look that way right now. They're getting dove towards the well. Cloud9 are just focusing tier 4s. They're not even bothering to go for a second lane of Rex. Can they really do it? Maybe they can. They still have Aegis. They still have Mech. Bristleback's at full HP, and they're diving Fear. They go in with a stomp. They find Zai. Cloud9 getting incredibly aggressive. Go back to your well, EG. You can't fight us, they say. And so far, they seem to be right. 1 tier 4 down, 1 to go. Aegis still online. There's another Death Pulse ready if needed. And they just keep on pushing. No Chronosphere even after the respawn. He's still 17 seconds short. Eternal Envy doesn't die this game. He just keeps on tanking. And they just start working on the throne. A slow but steady siege. Finally that damn Aegis pops. but he comes back to life with full HP. Nice BKB dodge from Arteezy, but into what? Not into this. Fodder with the right clicks. Finally, they have a Chronosphere from Universe. He finds two. He'll bring them down. AUI was also caught, but survives for now. Still, Fodder kept alive. BKBs will expire. Necrofoe's ult now going through, trying to find another kill. Eternal Envy will end up going down here, though. He's overextended. It's 4 dead. Cloud9, they thought they could throne it, but they got wiped in the EG base. A massive defense from the boys in blue. And they only bought back a Nature's Prophet to hold it. That's a 4,000 gold swing.
Why did they go for Throne? My goodness, they were playing it so well, just patiently going for Roshan, sacrificing Aegises. They don't even have the T2s down on the side.
Make it a 5,000 gold swing with that tier 1 dropping bottom. They got closer than I thought though, Ben. They actually brought the throne down to about
it's very risky though.
4/5 HP.
It's kind of reminiscent of what they did last game. It's like they went for a rather risky push when there was a safer play. Last game it was a Roshan. This game it's take out the T2s.
With the way that push went, what was to stop them from just pushing down top? The Aegis was going to expire. I don't think they would have gotten another lane of Rex during it, but maybe you just take the tier 2s, wait for the next Aegis, then go win the game.
They were doing a good job of starving EG. Not really starving them, but at least keeping on track and farm. And their heroes have a harder time accruing farm than EG. So I think that's a big win for them too. And Necrophos didn't have his heart completed, but at the same time, yeah, some fantastic play by EG to come through there in the end.
Look at that graph. It's like a plummet down of 8,000 gold because they took the tier 3, the 2 Raxes, the 2 tier 4s, and then as soon as EG win the fight, it spikes up another 5,000. We just bounced up and down 13,000 gold in net worth in a matter of like 3 minutes. Look at the dots, man. It's dot city here. That's a crazy.
And that's a hard for Necrophos.
Looks like a paint. It's like paint by numbers level of dots.
They also need a 4-staff, I think, on the side of Cloud9, because Necrophos needs some amount of mobility, and when Stampede's down, it's generally not enough to just have Bloodlust on him.
Cloud9 are on the hunt. They did smoke, and they're going to walk into Eternal Envy, up on the high ground, into a Mystic Flare, and now maybe into a Chrono from Universe. He caught out 2. Mag and Eternal Envy. Where's the backup? Where's the damn swap? They can't get it off because Pylai Die got nuked down, got silenced by Zai, who now chases forward. Or actually, I think it was an Arteezy, so it's not a Zai sound. But either way, no swap available. They've lost 2. They probably... Oh, no chase from Fear. I think he had AUI. Just playing it super conservative. They do not want to overextend, unlike what Cloud9 did in the EG base. And now they retreat. Only 1 buyback right now in the game. That's the Universe buyback on the Void. They will club down Zai. Orchid now used. They'll finish off. 1 in the Scarlet Mage looking for the Ogre as well. Universe will get that kill. And Fear just kites and controls this Bristleback. But who's the real kite in control? The Armadillo says, that's me, baby. I ain't afraid of no dragons. While that's happening, Arteezy falls, and Universe goes in again. Is he gonna find another kill? He's really not that farm. Stomp, going down in 3, no way to stop that TP out. And the creeps march down the middle lane. They'll start hitting on a throne momentarily. Straight forward they go, but there's 2 heroes to clear them out. What a crazy game.
One more Aegis could be the death of EG. Universe, they have to kill him during Chronos here, and that's just the majority of their damage unless their front line falls. And if he has an Aegis, or God forbid Aegis and buyback and BOTs, it's really difficult for EG to persist through that because they just don't have the consistent damage after they pop all their BKBs, Chronosphere and Orchid and Mystic Flare.
Universe just got a lot of farm out of that fight. 2.6k gold in the bank for him. He's improved his position to 4, 3, and 8, and his Chronospheres haven't been like, you know, the earth-shattering like 4 or 5 hero ones he got at TI4, but they're the right Chronospheres, preventing any sort of counter-initiation, catching out the Centaur so there's no stampede, and it's the other heroes backing him up. Zai with his silences, and Arteezy, I believe he was the one who got the silence off on the Venge there to make sure they secure that Necrophos kill. So.
Yeah. And at this point you might wonder why Pilot got a Sage instead of, like, let's say a Blink Dagger, just so, or a Force Staff even to protect Necrophos. It's all about keeping EE alive. It looks like the Centaur and
they're just gonna force it down mid, man. They don't want this game to go any longer against EG. EG, no buybacks at all. There's only a Centaur buyback, and they jump onto Zai with a Goo to start. They don't want to force it, they just want to get the creeps to the throne and start smacking it. As Eternal Enemy gets caught out, they got to prevent this defensive swap for now, and it's not forthcoming. The Venge gets bursted down, and now Universe charges forth on DotA. Not dead just yet. Eternal Envy sprouts surrounded, but they re-engage with a stampede. Arteezy trying to right-click the Bristleback, can't do it yet. Eternal Envy's ult not enough to secure a kill, so Universe survives and will bring down the Necrophos. Cloud9 beginning to self-destruct. 4 dead, make it a wipe. EG holding serve and pushing back down mid again. That's 2 team wipes trying to take this throne, Ben, and this time they didn't even scratch a building.
Wow, they could have played a little bit more patiently. EG, I mean, again, just the right Chronospheres. All you needed to do, get a lot of damage on Necrophos, Vengeful Spirit, even though he had a very nice swap there, they just did not have enough damage to go through those BKBs.
BKB seems to be a game-winning item right now for EG, and also just the silences. They're ruining this Venge. And now they'll look for a tier 2 mid. EG only have about 20 seconds, so I doubt we'll see a high ground breach. They do still have an exposed throne to boot. There are a few buybacks now. Nature's Prophet, the Abaddon, the Skywrath for the Radiant of EG, and for the Dire, there's the Eternal Envy buyback on the Necrophos and the Centaur. They really want to force these out. With the Assault Curse of Fear, they might succeed too. They force out a Glyph. EG are not afraid of this. They have a Chronosphere again, and they may just try and go for a lane of Rex straight down mid and turn this game completely on its head. Chronosphere at the ready. Universe could jump in, but he'll take a range Rex instead. Now the Stomp comes through. It's on to Universe. The shield's cooling down, but he's got BKB. He time walks out. Everybody joining the fight. Now they stampede to leap in further. Going just for PPD. Can they even get that kill? Double Edge was all they had, and they get nothing. No buybacks for the Dire, but they lost a range Rex. They got all the lanes pushed in against them.
Well, maybe C9 goes for the Aegis and then goes for a GG throne push at this point. I mean, that seems to be their idea. They just want to end the game right now before Necrophos, or sorry, before Dragon Knight and Faceless Void get out of hand. Looks like Roshan's not going to respawn. It's going to be near maximum respawn, almost 3 minutes on the dot.
Chronosphere is still online. Dragon Form is online. EG could potentially come in and contest this Roshan. It's very risky to do so. If you lose that fight with an exposed throne, then Cloud9 definitely go down mid and try to win the game. But there is potential for this.
And right now it looks like C9 just doesn't have no damage during BKBs. Firstly, the Bristleback doesn't do anything versus the million armor Dragon Knight. He's sitting at 43 right now with AC and HOD. So aside from that, they don't have anything. No sheeps, no instant stuns at all, too. So EG almost always going to get their BKBs. They can't focus the Abaddon at all. Oh no.
EG going for the sneak here into the pit. This will be quick work for them. They've got an Assault Crest at the ready. They use their level 3 Dragon Form, and Cloud9 don't have a jumper to get into the pit aside from the Centaur. If they're going to go, it's got to be right now. They smoke and they charge in. Roche already dead. BKB from Universe, and now they'll engage. Straight forward with the Time Walk. He found 2. Goes on to Eternal Envy. Mystic Flare there, but the swap this time happens. It cost Pylai's life almost. Not quite. They force-step Universe in. Remember, he's still sitting on an Aegis, but he's got a little left in the tank. He'll get Necrophos ulted, but he has a second life thanks to this Aegis, so he won't be deleted from the game. And now Fear chases Prafada, scurrying towards the north. Aegis out of the game, but also denied to Cloud9 in the end there.
Well, she's also picked up by Abaddon too. That was a big play by EG. And Cloud9 a little bit slow to react, and the Roshan timer too. If Roshan had spawned 50 seconds earlier, Cloud9 would have probably had that one in the bag.
Well, do you wait for the next Roche? Do you just go for a smoke play? With all these failed pushes down mid, it's starting to feel like Cloud9 won't have this late.
Well, what makes them think they can take the third one after the first 2 have failed? There's no like really game-changing item. He had heart for the second one.
Is it going to get easier later? Do you think?
No. Well, technically, possibly because of the Roshan, but at the same time, EG is going to get more items than C9 because of this Nature's Prophet. Actually, Nature's Prophet almost 6-slotted at this point.
Next time, EG might not even smoke into the Roche pit. They might just walk in. With the level of item progression we're seeing now. Universe up to 3,300 gold, so at least halfway to that next tier 4 item.
Oh, the smoke gank to mid. Can they actually kill Universe? I don't think so. PPD sits right beside him.
Fear also closing in on the Daedalus, and yeah, let's see if that smoke's gonna work. Universe is potentially a kill, but they've got to blink stomp him before he can BKB or Chrono or Time Walk. And PPD can still shield him.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And if it goes wrong, BKB, Cheese, Chrono, immediate turnaround. So that's just really risky.
That fight was definitely saved by Pylai there, though. Even though EG still overall, they deny Cloud9 big time. Imagine if he gets Chronoed. they lose a lot more. Their Necrophos almost certainly dies there, and then it might be EG actually threatening.
I don't actually know if they had enough damage to kill EE. He has 3,100 HP and a talisman. Now, he wasn't taking that much damage.
Did he have the talisman during the fight?
I think he did.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't actually see.
The Mystic Flare just pretty much eliminated Pylai from the fight, but they actually didn't kill Pylai until very much later on.
Yeah, does do more spread out damage. Here we go. Big fight breaking out of Sphere. Did manage the Dragon Form. He did not. BKB gets triple multicasted, but a Sprout holds Eternal Envy plays, and that's a Mystic Flare. The swap's there, but it isolates two. Eternal Envy out of the fight for now as they try to focus on Fada. Now going back for Pylai. Universe trying to 1v4 on the left side of the fight, while on the right they try to tackle this Bristleback. Eternal Envy runs around in circles, still kept alive. Has that Necrophos on, goes on the Universe, but he backtracks it! Oh no! This can't happen now for Cloud9. Where is the luck when you need it? Oh, jeez. Now, TP out from Universe's creeps are in the base. They're working on the throne. There was still a glyph available, so it wasn't that close time. My goodness.
Man, second time backtrack has just absolutely saved EG. I don't actually know if it would have killed him. It was like very close to that critical HP threshold.
Even, like, the earlier one was in the lating stage, right? That is in a potentially game-deciding team fight.
Well, I mean, if he kills them, they still die. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but still lucky with the backtracks.
It has a psychological effect though. Like you see someone backtrack, you're just like, what the? Wow.
And it really hurts EE's item progression. I think that's the biggest story of all of these team fights.
He's built tanky, but it does feel a bit like they can ignore him. No Aghanim Scepter, so you don't have to worry about him preventing her from buying back, and he doesn't have a Hex or any sort of really scary disable. Just slow and steady heals, but EG at this point keep him stun locked, they keep him just focused by the Void and the Dragonite for most of the fights.
Yeah.
So he's feeling less and less relevant as a result.
They do way too much damage during BKBs.
Rax now under siege. There's a glyph at the ready for Cloud9. It's been a back and forth game. Cloud9 0-1 to start. They need a turn here. If they drop to 0-2, they're in jeopardy of dropping to the loser's bracket. They'll have a date with Alliance to try and avoid that fate.
I must say, Fear has recovered very nicely from a couple of botched ganks with his Shadow Blade. Number 3 on net worth, overtaking Void by a couple thousand, and his items right now are pretty ridiculous, and he does a ton of damage on with his level 3 Dragon Form on.
If he completes Daedalus Satanic, it's just too much for Cloud9, I think.
I'm surprised he didn't build a Mjolnir. I think Mjolnir would have added a lot to their lineup, especially since Cloud9 doesn't have
they
that much
one on
magic
the Void.
Oh, they do? Oh, yeah. Still, nice stab double.
Yeah, it's a solid DPS item for sure.
They itemized for armor and physical mitigation with AC, Heaven's Halberd, Crimson Guard on Bristleback, just tons of armor on Necrophos, and evasion. So I think the magic damage from Mjolnir would help a lot, especially since no BKBs are out.
Yeah, there's really just Mystic Flare, Nature's Prophet ult, and the Bash from Void inside of the Chronosphere. And the Mjolnir on him. Actually, Arteezy also has one, so they actually have double Mjolnir. Just noticed that. So, maybe 3's one too many.
Yeah, he does hit really hard with his crit. Get that crit up.
EG, exposed throne, so it always is going to feel tenuous for them, but they seem very comfortable right now. They're up by 14,000 gold. Cloud9 don't really have a rat lineup per se. No creeps like Lycan Wolves that can let them sneak into the Radiant base. No heroes like Nature's Prophet or Wisp Tiny with the global mobility. So if they want to go into this EG base, they almost certainly have to either just walk down mid, risk getting chronoed, or smoke and then try and push.
Yeah, neither option's really good for them. They just have to straight win a team fight. EG's very, very prepared for it, and Nature's Prophet always pushing out lanes too, so they don't really get an opportunity to sneak in without backdoor protection.
Universe now has a completed MKB. That evasion from Eternal Envy, no longer a factor for him. They also have the Hex from Arteezy already. 2 solutions for evasion, and it's before he even upgrades this Null Talisman, or Talisman of Evasion, not Null Talisman.
But all their BKBs are at 5 seconds now, so that makes Necrophos a little bit stronger than before, not that much.
Makes Heaven's Halberd stronger as well, which he did end up just completing now. They have double Heaven's Halberd.
I think he has to get rid of his Atos at some point too. Maybe for a Scepter and then perhaps go for a gang on Universe, but Universe typically doesn't make those sort of mistakes.
Yeah, we may even see him replace the mech if this goes on long enough. It's good armor for now, probably the last item to go. Cloud9 pushing out the bottom lane, still holding Slight advantage here in terms of pre-equilibrium. They have their melee up mid, the Radiant do not. And they may just wait for this next Roshan, but there's a great Radiant Observer that's been planted down fairly recently as EG and Cloud9 continued a bit of a standoff here. They're farming, nobody taking fights.
Why didn't EE get a BKB? I think it would have been...
BKB? You mean Halberd?
No, I think he could have made a BKB.
Oh, why didn't he get a BKB?
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty good for him. As you said, a lot of the Mjolnir damage, the time lock, the MKB stun even, a lot of just stray magic damage falling out, a lot of damage from Skywrath Mage too, and it would make him just immune to it. And he actually has to think twice about the Chronospheres. Instead of just like, oh, I see EE, he can't get away, and a defensive swap is going to come out. But maybe with the BKB, he can just BKB, and then they won't be forced to sacrifice Highlight Die.
They do a fairly instant stuns with the Dragon Tail from Shadowblade, as well as the Hex from Prophet and the Chrono. It's not instant, but it's pretty close. So perhaps EE is just thinking he can't count on getting it off.
I think Halberd and Sabro would have been really good if Void weren't able to accumulate so many items too, but you have to still worry about the Nature's Prophet and the Dragon Knight, and there's almost no way you can be halberding them, not without a BKB and not with the slow coming out from the Dragon Knight.
They finally have their Ogre Eggs. I think this is actually a pretty big item. Magic damage versus EG with the BKBs wearing down could be a game changer. The Void only has 1700 health with a Mask of Madness. Dragon Knight is not that tanky for a Dragon Knight. I mean, armor-wise he's insane, but no heart completed.
They need a Veil, I think.
I feel like it might be AUI 2000. It ends up being their secret weapon if he gets super lucky with the double Fire Blast.
Yeah, double Fire Blast into a Reaper is almost guaranteed death, and I guess technically you can like shield and immediately BKB out, so that's an option for them. But
and yeah, I do like the Veil that you mentioned as well. Like now that you've got that and you have Reaper Scythe, and maybe you still even go back for the Axe now that the BKBs have run low on the Necrophos.
The trump card is Universe's Backtrack. If that hits again, then this.
Yeah, if he backtracks a Necrophos ult or something like that, I just don't know anymore. He's already gotten lucky enough with that, just that one alone.
So Roshan going to respawn in about 20 seconds time. Which team is going to be able to control it? EG better at fighting in the pit. Cloud9 don't really have an advantage in any aspect in the Roshan pit. They don't have better split push. They don't have that much physical damage to take down Roshan quickly. But I mean, it's slightly closer to Dire. I don't know. It seems like EG has an advantage when it comes to Roche.
Cloud9 did deward this crucial hill ward, and jeez, triple MKB for EG. They've got one on every single core. They have 3 right clickers, but those BKBs are low, and that could. It's a third Heaven's Halberd eventually. Maybe Pilot Eye manages to farm this after one team fight. With BKBs low, the disarm could be a big game changer. And we're gonna have that Roche dance. Do that thing again. Espada's in the pit, Universe waiting. They even have eyes on Eternal Envy down in the river. They're kind of baiting him out, hoping that they solo Chrono, and they're not doing it yet. They jump over the time walk. Now Arteezy will BKB. The Chrono only finds him, and then Pilot Eye swaps him out. Keeps Eternal Envy alive. Shiva's in Stampede to try and re-engage. He heals, and he backs off. So far, Universe has only found the bench. Arteezy dropping low, but he stands strong for now. A lot of right-click damage. They bring down Eternal Envy, and Universe stands his ground. No, multicast, ding ding, says AUI. A 3-for-2 exchange with an instant buyback on that Void. They do not want to give up a Roshan. Should he die again, there's the potential for a straight throne rush, and that, Ben, is a completed Abyssal Blade on your Bristleback, who's just not going to die in a Chrono. It seems Mag with the 2-arrow stop. Universe back into the fight, but doesn't have Chrono. He can't really force it. Roche is still very healthy, and nobody yet going in. Buybacks were used in some on the Void, the Nature's Prophet, and the Eternal Envy Necrophos. 3 heroes that won't have it for 6.5 minutes.
Ogre is making a difference in these fights. These multicasts, it brought down Dragon Knight. I mean, those things are scary, super scary.
And they're gonna get the Aegis now. Eternal Envy desperately needs this.
And the cheese.
Yeah, he'll take probably the Aegis. Oh, they give it to the Bristleback. All right, he'll take the cheese.
Why didn't they give him Aegis? What the heck? Well,
he doesn't have buyback.
This again puts more pressure on Pilot Eye. If he dies in a Chronosphere without being able to pop his Aegis,
he saved that fight with the swap.
Yeah,
that is what they need to win fights. You know, it actually reminds me of a game I saw. I think it was Vici. Oh no, it was Newbie playing the Hal Faceless Void, where what won them the game was they were up against Avenge, but then you got a refresher. So you Chrono once, this bench swaps out, and then you just Chrono the swap, and then you get the kill. But Universe isn't really anywhere near a pressure. Wondering if that's his final item here to give him the 10 seconds of magic immunity and the double chrono to potentially counter the swap.
I think it would have been a better choice than the MKB personally, especially since they have 2 range damage dealers with MKB, and they kind of need them for the setup and just to kill people before they pop their mass heals and cooldowns.
Cloud9 begin to cluster towards the top side of the map. They have Boots of Travel on their Bristleback. That is about as farmed as you'll ever see a Bristleback get. I honestly think he might be able to win ahead on engagement with a Void at this point. You normally don't say that about any hero late game.
With Bloodlust,
yeah.
I think so.
Bloodlust Abyssal played Bristleback. Jesus. Don't sleep on him. Not to mention, like, the Centaur return damage is a factor here, too, as we go late. Did they lose a gem as well? Oh, no, still both teams still have a gem. But they'll get a D-ward on the mid lane. Eternal Envy moving forward with Fada by his side. They finagle towards top. They just don't want Arteezy to be threatening high ground. They seem hell-bent on the throne ban again.
0 out of 10 heroes with buyback. This is probably it.
Is anyone even close? 140 on Centaur and 380 on your Baden.
But Centaur doesn't have BOT, so it won't matter.
Only thing that would matter for Stampede, but probably that won't be enough. They jump in on Eternal Envy to start a few batches. Now the BKB used. Where is that Vengeful Spirit? Just maneuvering around as Eternal Envy finally gets chronoed. Paradise got to come in and save him. Swaps him out. He got Hex, but he'll get to use his cheese here. Universe still hesitating to jump in further. Fada kept alive, and now with the chrono down, they get the ultimate off. Say goodbye to your Universe Faceless Void, and perhaps to the EG chances of taking this 3-0 sweep in Group A. Fada also alive. His Aegis was popped. They turn. They multicast. They brought down 2. Still only a buyback on the Centaur. And now Mag goes in. Hard onto the Dragon Knight. Centaur overrunning him. The Armadillo is too strong. He is the ultimate beast. And it looks like Cloud9 will wipe EG off the map. They'll throw it. GG. What a turnaround.
What a turnaround indeed. That was super risky giving the cheese to Necrophos though, instead of the Aegis.
Like, such good play by Pylai. He came through big time.
Universe was looking for him for a Chronosphere. He's like, I don't really want to Chronosphere him. And then they actually dumped a Hex on him too. So they used a lot of cooldowns, didn't get him with that, and I would say that's a pretty decent outdraft for Cloud9, a rare outdraft for PPD. And they stole some of the heroes under their nose, and they played something completely unexpected, whereas EG going back to their tried and true.
Cloud9 made that a little bit hair-raising.
They're just like, well, whatever, we're going to go
They did not have the throne rush